Hello, happy Friday. We're going to be moving back in time because I recorded my Friday Reads video yesterday thinking that I would have the spoons to actually upload it, which I did not. So we're going to go back in time and then we're going to come back to today and I'm going to tell you what I recently purchased because this is now going to be a Friday Reads and a book haul. Hi everyone. So I just finished watching the Locked Booktician's review of The Poppy War and it was so good. You should definitely watch it. I'll put it up in the cards because I love her. She's just so hilarious and yeah, I like the very comfortable and, you know, soft intellectual way that she reviews books. And by soft intellectual, I mean that she's very smart and very heady, but it's not like you're being hammered over the head with the concepts that she talks about. It's like just talking to your very smart friend about a book. So her review of The Poppy War was very great. I am leaning on Tommy, who you can't see but is ever present, right Tommy?
Yes.
You can see like the tip of her shoulder, like right there. Anyway, I am gonna basically do what the Locked Booktician did, which is to tell you about where I am at right now in reading The Salt Roads by Nalo Hopkinson, who actually recommends The Poppy Wars. But yeah, I'm probably about 100 pages in, and The Poppy Wars, no, not The Poppy Wars, The Salt Roads, which is what I am reading. The Salt Roads follows, right now it follows two main characters, maybe 2.5. So one character is La Mère, and she lives on a sugarcane plantation in Saint-Domingue, which is the name for pre-independence Haiti when it was colonized by the French. And so she lives on that plantation, and she is a doctress, which means that she is an enslaved African woman who is required to, in addition to her to doing her sugarcane like cutting duties, she's also required to tend to the medical needs of her fellow enslaved Africans living on the plantation. She is an older woman. She has a lover who is also an enslaved African. Both of them have husbands who permit their relationships with each other. So there's a sort of soft poly situation happening there. But La Mère's husband was escaped off of the plantation and joined the Maroons. And La Mère has gifts, magical gifts. She's able to communicate with otherworldly beings and practices a version of a spiritual tradition that hasn't been named yet, but one that feels and sounds like a version of voodoo. Then there is, so that's what's happening on the plantation. The other character that we follow is Jean, who is a Jean? What's the French female version of Jean? Jean?
I don't know. I'm not even gonna attempt to.
You're not gonna try. So Jean, we'll call her Jean, or Jane. I can't let it go, and Jerry. So she is a performer of some sort. I believe she's a dancer. And we're now in the mid-1800s in Paris, France. We're following the second main character, who is a dancer or an actress or something, but she performs. And she is the mistress of Charles Baudelaire, who is, as Google will tell you, a famous French poet, who was known for spending all of his inheritance and doing drugs and writing poems, and who is also known for, in real life, having this mistress lover named Jean Duval. or Jean Duval. So we're following her, and she is having difficulties in her relationship because she is a black woman living in Paris in the mid-1800s. Of course, employment opportunities are limited. She is probably not going to be permitted to marry Charles because she's a black woman. So she struggles with, you know, vying for his affections and getting things from him by, like, basically being his mistress. So she may have feelings for him, but she's also very consciously trying to move up in life and sees him as a way, and his inheritance as a way to do that. She also has a lover, a female lover, who is part of the actor troupe in the theater company or the dance group that she's a part of. And both of these women, although they're lovers with each other, both of them have aspirations of finding a man who will be able to assist them financially and make a good home for them, because their options are limited. Jane's lover's name is Lisette, who is a white woman who's a part of this troupe. Those are the two characters, the two main characters. There's also a third character that is emerging right now, and that character is an otherworldly being that may be tying both of the storylines together, but I'm not sure exactly who that person is yet. But it looks like they have dropped into the body of Jane, and that character is starting to sort of understand what's going on in her brain, which is why we get an inside view of her emotional and mental landscape, because there's this third character who has dropped inside of her and is like using her body, or maybe using her body. So I'm not sure if it's a goddess or a spirit, or I don't even know what it is. I expect that at some point these two paths will cross. Not sure how, not sure when. Even though I actually read this book years ago, I have totally forgotten everything that happens in it, so I don't know what's gonna happen. So I am enjoying it so far because the storylines are interesting. Already we see, from a 7 calorie shell point of view, we already see the like the characters are very clearly queer, and not as, and actually casually queer. Actually, they are casually queer, which is, I think, very close to the epitome of inclusion. The world building is really interesting because the otherworldly elements are so present in the world. This is very much a historical, it's described as historical fiction, and in classic Afrofuturist style. Even though this is not an Afrofuturist novel, it is black fantasy. I wouldn't even call it science fiction, but it definitely has that element of genre bending that black science fiction and fantasy is known for having. So there are elements of historical fiction, there are elements of fabulist fiction, there's definitely fantasy there. So there's a lot going on. So I really enjoy that I'm getting some history here. I hope that the story includes the revolution, but in order to do that, it's going to have to speed up a little bit in years, and I'm not sure it's going to do that. There's this other character who is an escaped African who lives with the Maroons, or maybe we think he lives with the Maroons, but he also has an interest in connecting with the African deities because I think he wants to lead an uprising and he wants the Africans to be freed in Saint-Domingue. So I'm hoping that we're gonna see an uprising, because those stories are often very interesting. For those of you who have read Marlon James's book, The Book of Night Women, which is historical fiction and also like some fantasy elements as well. His book involves the story of women engaged in magic and ritual. These women also live on a plantation, but this time it's in Jamaica, and I believe it was sugar, but I'm it might have been Cain as well, but I don't recall exactly. But if you read the Book of Night Women and you like that, there are similar elements to the Salt Roads. I'm trying to think of what else would be similar. You know what? She Would Be King, and She Would Be King by Wayatu Moore has a similar feel to it, as does Redwood and Wildfire, which was written by Andrea Hairston. That's also something, has a similar feel to it, as well as Everfair by Nisi Shawl, which is a retelling, an Afro-retrofuturist steampunk retelling of the founding of, the Congo, I think. Yes, that's Nisi Shaw's. And She Would Be King is the, I'm not making sense, eh? I'm gonna edit this, but anyway, it's good. It's good so far. Great cover. Talk to you soon. Bye. Hello, it is Jerry of the Present. Thank you very much for staying with this video. If you have read The Salt Roads, and if you are interested in reading The Salt Roads, please leave a description. Please leave a comment in the comment area about why or what you loved about it. And if you want to comment on The Salt Roads, then leave like a little salt shaker, because that feels apropos. Okay, so now let me tell you about some of the books that I recently acquired. All right, I'm filming with my back camera on my phone, so I can't actually see myself. So you already know what I look like. So if half of my face is not there, I'm on vacation, so I'm not gonna worry too much about that. All right, so the first book that I purchased is a book that has a lot of sentimental value and sentimental meaning to me. This is a book that I read when I was quite young. My father actually introduced me to this author. She is a Trinidadian woman who moved to Canada and is a poet. She is a lawyer. She is a novelist, and she's written she hasn't written many books, but this particular book was an award-winning middle grade novel, and it's called Harriet's Daughter. The author is, her name is Norbeze. At the time, she went by another name. So this was the winner of the 1988 Casa de las Americas Prize. And I'll just read the back. Harriet Tubman was brave and strong, and she was black like me. I think it was the first time I thought of wanting to be called Harriet. I wanted to be Harriet. Margaret is determined to be someone, to be cool with style and class and have a blacker skin. More than anything else, she wants to help her best friend Zulma escape from Canada and fly back to Tobago to live with her grandmother. She compiles a list, things I want changed in my life, and she sets out achieving those objectives. But at 14, coming to terms with growing up, relationships, and responsibilities is not quite so straightforward, and the parental threat of good West Indian discipline is never far removed. In this charming, humorous, and perspective tale of adolescence, Marlene Norbice Phillips explores the friendship of two young black girls and throws into sharp relief the wider issues of culture and identity so relevant to teenagers of all races and colors. So, yes, this is Harriet's Daughter, and my parents were really big on trying to encourage me to read more books by black writers, and so, yeah, this is a book. You'll see that there's a, it's very obviously set in Toronto. The CN Tower is there, so it's a Canadian, it's a black Canadian book. The art is really beautiful as well. The cover design, the cover illustration, the artist's name is Colin Williams. Anyway, so this book was published in the 80s by Women's Press, when we had one in Toronto. So yes, I am looking forward to reading this again. It is not a very long read. I remember crying when I first read it. It's only 150 pages with very wide margins, and I will probably read it for the readathon. All right, so I'm glad I have that childhood favorite back, and now let's open some packages. So ooh, okay. So the first one is, ooh, this is a gift. Okay, so I got an email in June letting me know that my name was selected by a group of booktubers who like secretly buy books for people, and so I know that some of the books that I've received will be gifts from my Amazon wish list. It was very touching to receive that, and at the time I didn't have an Amazon bookish wish list, so I was actually on the list for June, but I'm going to be getting some of those books in July. So I know that several of the books in this haul will be gifts from booktubers, which I will shout out. So this is a gift from Anna Goldberg, and Anna Goldberg is, I believe she's a Canadian booktuber, but she's definitely a booktuber. So Anna, thank you very much. Anna, when I first started my channel, Anna shouted out ONYX pages when I was a smaller booktuber, and I really appreciate that. And I believe that Anna and, oh, I'm going to forget her name, Erin. Anna and Erin both run a readathon that focuses on writers with disabilities. So yes, if I get that wrong, I will change that in the description box. But Anna's note says, "Dear and Jerry, I hope you enjoy this book. I did when I read it. Thanks for all you do for the book community, from Anna and the Booktube Gift Fairies." So yes, it is the Booktube Gift Fairies. So thank you very much for the gift. And I'm getting some washi tape because I'm sentimental like that. So I'm going to paste the note into the book. And so the book that I've received from Anna is Gingerbread, a novel by Helen Oyeyemi. Thank you very much for getting this. I'm so happy. You may remember that I borrowed a copy of this book from the library and haven't brought it back, and I haven't even read it. So I'm gonna bring this back, that book back. It's probably $40 overdue, and now I have my own copy. So I'm gonna read this and mark it up. So this is, okay, so influenced by the mysterious place Gingerbread holds in classic children's stories, the beloved best-selling author of Boy, Snow, Bird, and What Is Not Yours invites readers into a delightfully inventive and bewitching novel about a surprising family legacy in which the inheritance is a recipe. Okay, so I'm gonna read the back. So this is Helen Oyeyemi. Perdita Lee may appear your average British schoolgirl. Harriet Lee may seem just a working mother trying to penetrate the school's social hierarchy. But there are signs that they might not be as normal as they think they are. For one thing, they share a gold-painted seventh floor walk-up apartment with some surprisingly verbal vegetation. And then there's the gingerbread they bake. Londoners may find themselves able to take or leave it, but it's very popular in Druhastrana, the faraway, or according to many sources, non-existent land of Harriet Lee's early youth. The world's truest lover of the Lee family's gingerbread, however, is Harriet's charismatic childhood friend Gretel, a figure who seems to have a hand in everything, good or bad, that has happened to Harriet since they met. So there's a lot going on in this story. As we find out, like, the thing that was most fascinating to me about this story was this magical gingerbread. So I think it is I don't think it's a Hansel and Gretel retelling, but there are definitely elements of Hansel and Gretel in this story. So I don't want to know too much about it. Hansel and Gretel was actually one of my childhood favorite fairy tales. But yes, I also love like the minimalist, I'm doing this on my phone, so it's a nice cover. I'll put it there. Okay, so Anna, thank you very much for that book. Okay. now I've caught up to where I was before. This is going to be a long video. I'm going to try and be less chatty, but I will fail. Okay. Okay, so this is The Girl Who Drank the Moon. Now, I don't... Oh, okay. There's been more fairy activity. Okay, so... these are... Okay, so these 3 books are from Kylie, and it says, "Hi, hey and Jerry, love your channel and love you." I love you too. Courtesy of the Booktube Gift Fairies from Kylie A. So thank you very much, Kylie, for these books. This one is The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and it was written by Kelly Barnhill. This is a book that I think I heard Audrey on Perpetual Pages talk about this a long time ago. Every year, the people of the Protectorate leave a baby as an offering to the witch who lives in the forest to keep her from terrorizing their town. But the witch, Zan, is really kind and gentle. She shares her home with a wise swamp monster and a perfectly tiny dragon. Zan rescues the children and delivers them to welcoming families on the other side of the forest. One year, Zan accidentally feeds a baby moonlight, filling the ordinary child with extraordinary magic. Zan decides she must raise this girl, whom she calls Luna, as her own. As Luna's 13th birthday approaches, her magic begins to emerge with unpredictable consequences, just when it's time for Zan to go collect another child. Meanwhile, a young man is determined to free his people by killing the witch, and a volcano, dormant for centuries, rumbles within the earth. So this is a book I was always intrigued about. It is not written by a Black author, and it is not an Afrofuturist book. So I may not review it on this channel. However, in the reviews that I heard of this book, I just found myself feeling really drawn to the story. And the reason is there's a kind of fairy tale, like a feminist fairy tale style of writing, where authors will really trouble certain tropes. And in this particular story, the trope that is being, I think, troubled is the mean old woman living in the woods who you know, harms children. I've always been really interested in what the story was from the perspective of the witch. So kind of like a Maleficent kind of situation, like what is actually happening? Who is this witch that we all talk about? Because it's always this dark, mysterious character that's always labeled to be the villain. So The Girl Who Drank the Moon, I'm interested in this. I've always wanted to have a copy of it. So now I do. So thank you very much, Kylie. The second book is Storm of Locusts. It's the sequel to Trail of Lightning, which I have not read yet, but this is the second book, Rebecca Roanhorse. So I probably will review this on my channel, and I will let you look up reviews of both of the first book, but I'll read the second one. It's been 4 weeks. Actually, no, I'm not going to read the back of the second one because it'll give you spoilers for the first. So it's book 1 and book 2 of the Sixth World trilogy series. I don't know, but Rebecca Roanhorse is indigenous and Black. And so this will be the first time that I would have read an author with that identity, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you very much for that. And then the final book is, oh yes, Motor Crush. I've heard lots of people talk about this. I think Jessie from Bow Ties and Books was the last person I heard talk about Motor Crush, but I feel like there have been many others. Anyway, okay, let's just take a moment for this bomb cover. Yeah, really excited. And the colors are cool. It's just very, very cool. Welcome to the beautiful Nova Honda, the racing capital of the world, home of the prestigious World Grand Prix, the illegal street race, the cannonball, and the racer caught between both of them, Domino Swift. I think that's Domino. Domino is one of the best racers on any circuit. By day, she competes for fame and fortune in the WGP. By night, she cracks heads of rival gangs in brutal bike wars to gain possession of a rare, valuable contraband, an engine-boosting machine stimulant known as Crush. I think that there is, yes, there's definitely queerness in this. So I think this is going to be cute and queer and fun, and Domino is awesome. So yes, looking forward to that. So those are 3 books from Kylie A. Thank you very much, Kylie.